Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 163 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. It is the weekly edition and I'm standing beside my partially disassembled thickness planer. So, if you want to see what the action is in today's chapter, all you need to do is stay tuned. Well, a couple of chapters ago, I sharpened my thickness planer blades on my newly acquired surface grinder or sharpener. And yeah, there are a few issues with that we're probably going to deal with and share with you in an upcoming video. But for today, I'm actually probably going to need my thickness planer in this next week. So I need to get the knives back in and get it cutting properly again. But it isn't just a simple matter of throwing the knives back in it and away you go. I am a firm believer that there's a bunch of service that you do while you have everything apart and to check everything over. And the first thing that we're going to start with is a good cleaning. Ah, yes, the cleaning. Uh, yeah, there's lots of stuff that sticks onto the cutter head if you've used your machine for a while and haven't had to change anything or take care of anything. And now is a good time to get rid of that stuff. I've been trying this Clean Flow Multi-Clean Plus. I've never used this, but it seems to do a reasonable job of softening things up. I'd soaked this once. My experience is the pitch and gum in here, you almost always have to scrape it. So been using, I have some plastic auto body tools, Sheep Princess Auto stuff that will scrape and seems to work reasonably well. Watch out that you don't cut yourself, because even these edges on the cutter head are somewhat sharp, and you don't want to, blood isn't a good lubricant, let's put it that way. Well, I don't think it is anyway. Yeah, we'll go with that. But now I've done quite a bit of cleaning on this already, because cleaning is cleaning. Basically, get everything as clean as you can, and it's a good time to check for bearing play and stuff like that. Like, can you? No, that's good. That's good. Those bearings are still good. There's no play in them. And I cleaned the chip deflector in the back here and the little fingers in front as well. So I'm quite happy with this now. This is fairly nice and clean. But I do have some other parts, like the pieces that screw onto here to hold the knives in place. I haven't cleaned those yet, but that's just the same as doing this. So when I'm doing something else, we'll show you that instead. Well, did a little bit of work off camera. I have one side or one knife put in already. And I kind of need to do that to remind myself how to do this again. And one thing that is critically important, to have your thickness planer or your jointer user manual, because this thing adjusts a little bit differently than the others that I've worked with over the years. So I'm just going to walk you through it. Now, I've already got the knife holder in place. Okay, that just fastens to, it's kind of a weird shaped cutter head. It's basically flat on both sides like this and then rounded on the ends. It's kind of a strange looking beast. But that's not really that important for what I'm going to do now. So what I need to do is grab the knife and carefully slide it between the cutter head and the knife holder. I like this system because it is quite easy to do, and these knives are really easy to adjust once I remembered how to do it. Let's make sure they're centered. Okay, Now that's in. It needs to go in further yet, but I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the, the other pieces to the cutter head on here. And they're held on, these look like about 1.25 inch long, 8mm bolts. And try to get them started and thread them in. I should have maybe lubricated them a bit more, but I didn't. And my apologies, I'm probably, you're hearing me, but you're probably not seeing me. So, but I thought it was more important that you saw the cutter head than me. So we'll get this in there. And quickly, whoops, no, I didn't, oh no, I didn't even see where it went. Oh my goodness. There it is. Yeah, things happen. You can lock this cutter head in place with this lever here, but it locks it, I think with the knife, the, the tip of the knife uh, at the highest spot. And I don't really want that right now. I want this a little flatter. So that I can just get this started. It's easier now than the first. Putting the first knife in is a little harder because the cutter head is so off balance because you've got all the weight on one side. Now I've got weight on the other side, and it's a lot easier to keep things in position. It just takes some time, that's all. I think one thing I'm going to invest in yet is a way to have my dial gauge. I have magnetic mounted dial gauge. Now this doesn't help anything because like the magnets wouldn't help on here because this is aluminum. But if I had two dial gauges, I would just put them on at either end. And yet, maybe that's a level of complexity that I just don't need because this way of adjusting is so simple. You wait, I'll have trouble with this side. The other side went pretty much flawlessly. And I really like that knife holder. That takes a lot of the stress off of this. I'm just going to get these a little tighter. I don't want them grabbing yet. That's too tight. And you'll see why in a second here. Okay, a minute. Like this speed wrench. At least that's what I call it. There we go. That's good. Okay, now to put this knife in, you lock it there. You take this. This is a jointed stick, and you push down, and it holds it there. And you push down. And I always like to go back and check. So yeah, you're just taking a straight edge, putting it over these two machined surfaces here, and pressing the knife in. Now I'm going to temporarily, see now it's locked, but those bolts are hard to tighten when it's locked. So I'm just going to take that lock off, and I'm going to tighten both ends just a little bit so I can double check the alignment of the knife. There we go, that should do it. Now, what it says it's supposed to do is move about 6 millimeters. Okay, that's a little low. I'm going to let that come up again. Let's see what this side is. Okay, that cutter head's a little low. Okay, then you need to raise it up. I'm going to undo the bolts. And lift the cutter. There's a way to do that. Where did my screwdriver go? I don't really have the right screwdriver for this, but you put it in there and you pop the knife up. To me, that's so much better than the springs that you use with a standard. Okay, now I'm going to try that again. And you know what? Maybe this time I'm going to just put a little bit more tension on these screws, just a little bit. So I think that one went in. The knife was just a wee bit low. So let's just get this on there. Just give it a little bit of snug. There we go. Pushing that knife up is so easy in this setup. So, okay, let's try that again. So we're going to put our block on there. Oh, I've got them too tight now. Oh, shoot. There we go. Let's try that again. It's always when the camera's rolling. There we go. Okay, now we're going to okay. I'm not going to go back and check this time because I suspect I made it a little too low by doing that. Okay. Now what should happen, I made a line here, you can't see it. I took my caliper and scribed 6 millimeters along the back. So what should happen is with a little bit of pressure on here, it moves it about 6 millimeters. So if I'm on my mark, it's maybe just a wee bit more there. And that's a little less. Okay, I'm going to redo this side one more time, and I think then we're going to leave it. That other side is just a wee bit high. Maybe we're going to try it one more time. Think we can do it? There we go. So we're going to do it one more time. Maybe I'll start on this side first. Maybe I've been doing it wrong, been unlucky. That looks pretty good. Now it might be moving a little bit when I tighten it too. And it's just a matter of back and forth until you get it right. I'm happy with the other knife already. And that one, I should have filled that one because I got that one first try. And when you're doing this, always watch how you touch the knife. That's perfect. Because they're sharp and they would cut you. I think that's good. That's it right there. I'm just going to double check that one more time, but I felt really good that time. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to tighten all these up. And I had to look up the torque specs, and I think these are 8mm bolts. So they suggested a torque of between 15 and 18 foot-pounds. So I set my torque wrench for 17, and that's what I torqued the other side to already. So we'll just quickly do these 8 bolts here. Once you know what you're doing and you have everything handy, this doesn't take long. It's just the problem is I haven't done this for a while, and this took way longer than it should have. I'm going to start from the inside and work my way out. There we go. Kind of like torquing a head on a vehicle. Well, that's a little different, but oh, come on. There we go. Well, the cutters are back in. They're adjusted properly. It's really quite a simple process once you remember how to do it. And yeah, it's really warm in here today. It's not usually warm in this shop, but today it is. So all that needs to be done is we need to put the top back on, and that's pretty easy to do, and then fasten the dust collection on again. You know what? While I have you zeroed in here like that, I may just do it. Ouch! Watch that the dust duck doesn't pinch your fingers. Okay, come on. Yeah, let's do this. Okay. It's fancy footwork there. And these little clips just go over like that. And you tighten them. Okay, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. Come on, there we go. Okay, well, I think we're done. Well, there it is. My thickness planer is back together. Hallelujah. I'm always really happy when the knives are sharp and everything's ready to go again. And now we won't have that little ridge that was, there were those 2 little notches that I talked about in the other video. that they were leaving behind. So now we should be better. And if I didn't do a great job sharpening them, I actually think they are nice and sharp. They don't look as nice as I would like, but I've got some stone issues that we're going to solve. But anyway, this worked out well. And like I said, I'm always happy when the lives are back in. All I need to do is put a screw in to hold the dust hood yet. And I'm not going to run it for you because, well, you'll see that in the future anyway. But yeah, as far as the YouTube side of this goes, you might notice in this video, if I don't chicken out, I'm going to try a couple of new editing features. So yeah, I don't know. This we'll see. But and maybe it's getting to the point where Clipchamp, maybe I've gone as far as I can with that. But I'm finding I'd like to do things that I can't do, or maybe I just don't know the software well enough yet, because I'm always pushing it to get stuff out. So anyway, yeah, with that in mind, this went well. Remember to make sure that you stay safe. These knives are sharp. If you're working, even if you're working with carbide cutters and you're just flipping them, they're sharp. Make sure your hands are somewhat protected. I don't like wearing gloves, so I rarely do, but I'm very careful usually the way I handle the cutter. I have cut myself on these before, but yeah, it's something you really need to watch for. And the other thing is, if you're not 100% sure of what you need to do, check your manual, your user manual for your planer. Even this old Makita of mine, it's online. I have the book in that filing cabinet in my shop somewhere, but I don't have time to look for that. So I just went online and found the manual, and away I went. So yeah, look at the manual. And the other thing you should do is make sure you have the tools to do this. Like you're going to need something to clean. Little brushes would have worked good too, and I have a few here that I just forgot about. Because that gum and pitch on the blade, on the cutter head, needs to come off. It's a good chance, it's also a good time to look over the rest of your cutter head and bearings and that stuff, which we did. So, see, there was one more thing I thought I needed to mention. Oh, dial gauges and stuff like that would work really good for some of the traditional 3-knife cutter heads with the springs in the bottom that, you know, when you put the knife in, you always bend them over and they don't do their job properly. Yeah, so anyway, those 3 things, if you keep that in mind when you're doing this, this can happen quite regularly, and if it's easy to do, you're going to do it more often, and that's going to lead to improved quality in the planing that you do. So with that in mind, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the weekend edition.